Hi, I just wanted to take just a minute to talk about feeling the pulses and the difference that it makes when we adopt a certain attitude towards the patient and like a way of being, or like the reason why we're there, like what our job is in relation to the patient, and in particular in relation to the present moment in the treatment room, that day, like that, not even that day, not even that session, like that, in that very real moment when we go to make contact with the patient's pulse. Having a particular kind of way of conceptualizing that, or a particular way of embodying that meeting, makes a really big difference in the information that the pulse will give to us, and therefore a really different possible outcome from the treatment. So it's basically, I guess, the difference between pathologizing the patient and looking for pathology, as in looking for a problem because we want to move that problem out of the patient. And that, at first glance seems like that's what we're there to do. And it's not false. We are there to do that, but our job is actually something that actually contains that. So that's just a part of it, but it's really important to inhabit actually the container of that. And what I mean is, if we approach that person as already perfect, already containing innately an eternity of information about how to be completely well, and connected to the cosmos, connected to their path, connected to their soul, connected to the kind of spiritual light, however you want to say, like the highest level of inviolable being, is at their core. And we feel, first and foremost, it's kind of like pay homage to that, or kind of almost like in reverence, bow to that presence in the patient, and then the fingers make contact with their skin, because we're really asking from that place, which already knows, outside of the realms of space and time, exactly how that person is, already perfect. So that's what we're trying to uncover in the treatment. So what we're trying to do already exists, and we're just looking to sort of polish the window, or sweep in front of the front door so that the path to the door can be found, or the whole structure of well-being exists in the patient. It's not the practitioner's job. Like we're just humans, just like the patient. It's not our job to construct wellness for the patient. It's their well-being exists already innately within them, and it's our job to acknowledge that it's bigger than us, and it's smarter than us, and it's more robust and resilient than our thinking mind. And so when we approach the pulse, we're really asking, in this moment, what would you have me know? Where in the body, which organ? Would you like me to think about the diaphragm? Would you like me to think about the pelvis? Would you like me to think about the exterior of the body? Would you like me to think about the very the foundational energetics of that, that person's life? Would you like me to think about their consciousness, as in the that's obviously the Wei, the Yuan, and then the Yin level. The pulse can be as complex or as simple as you like. If you want to feel for complexity in the pulse, you'll get it. There's no end of complexity there. Like, it's just like the world. There's no end of complexity in the world. But for example, you can step back and look at a map of the world and say, well, Africa is a continent here and Antarctica is a continent there, and those are two distinct things, each with their own properties. And so you can even ask the pulse to simplify itself for you, and just to show you what's the most meaningful avenue of opening today that's available for this person. Really that's it. It's usually, it's, I don't know if efficient is right, it's quite the right word. It's the path of least resistance to healing that's being demonstrated to you. That's not necessarily to say that the journey of that healing is going to be easy on that person. There might be fallout and adjustment as they shift and let go of some stuff that they've been really identifying with and needing to become something new ultimately, which is more themselves, but it's difficult to let go of stuff that we've been identifying with. So it's not like you're necessarily going to be giving them the easy path to their true nature, but the pulse, if you're open to it, it's going to give you, in a sense, the most direct way for you. So as their practitioner, it's a meeting of spirit and spirit. So you're the practitioner in the room with your spirit, your know-how, your particular gifts, and the patient's spirit is in the room, already knows who you are and what to ask for. And so you can, in that sense, you can you can relax. You can relax and trust that what the pulse is asking of you is totally within your capability. If you detect, for example, a treatment method that you're not particularly familiar with yet, you can just ask for a different level. So if you haven't done much 8 extras work yet, you can just acknowledge, okay, I feel this. You might even give some verbal feedback to the patient. Let's just say you've felt a yin cha mai pulse. You could ask the person, is it possible that at the moment you're experiencing things to do with how you view yourself, self-identity, self-esteem? Chances are they'll say, oh, actually, yeah, I have been, yep. And then you can sort of acknowledge that and just let that be the response. And then just kind of like a whiteboard, you kind of like you clear your mind, and then you go back to the pulse and just ask to be shown something that you're more comfortable with, like a primary channel treatment for that day, or you can figure out from what they've been talking about whether a psychosocial low could be used that day, something that you're more familiar with if that's where you're up to. So it's a really different approach from TCM, where you're saying, where as you're coming towards the person, you're looking for something that's wrong. And that's never a really nice thing to be on the receiving end of, as a person. Like, imagine you met someone at a party and they came in and they're kind of, their brow is furrowed and they're kind of quizzing you to find out, like, what's wrong with you, to try and find, like, your faults or, like, what could be different about you. It doesn't feel good. Whereas if you meet someone for the first time and they're just really curious and open and they want to know who you are, it feels really, really lovely to meet that person. And we can bring that meeting, the spirit of that meeting, to feeling the pulse. So it's just an idea to try, and don't put pressure on yourself if you don't sort of take it as an all or nothing or black and white, or that you just because I've sort of talked about it this way, that, you know, that's somehow right. It's I'm more just sharing it, because if it resonates with you, then you can sort of give yourself permission to open up to that more and more. It's really trust. It's a trust thing. Really open up and trust that the pulse is going to bring you information. And if you don't understand some pulses are just so deep, you know, there's so much detail in there, there's so much going on. And you can ask the pulse to kind of, it's like, can you dumb it down a little? Like, I can see that you really want to tell, there's a lot that you want to tell me. Can you give me the bare bones of it? Can you show me what I can do today? And you'll always get a good outcome from that. Like, the patient will feel it, like 100%. So simple is good. Simple is really powerful. So just because the pulse is complex, it doesn't mean that your response to the pulse has to be. And just in general, always looking for where are the resources, like where is everything going well, and kind of spread that around. It's like if your mind is a paintbrush, then you want to dip it into the patient's resources, you know, and then you paint your treatment from there. It's like, what's already here, what's already going well. Like that's what we're like enhancing, so that the patient feels more and more of, they experience it, they experience their own resources. So we're always, I believe, the question to ask is, you're innately perfect, you're full of resources, like how can we work with this so that all of that well-being starts to join up more and more, so that you can experience it. And if you do perceive blockages, that's not the person. That's not your end game. The blockages are just what's getting in the way of what's really real. So I hope that helps. Thanks.